What's up, everyone? Welcome to Pat's Chat. We're a proud member of the CLNS podcast network. So make sure to subscribe to CLNS, to Pat's Chat, to Patriots Press Pass, all of those things. Michael,
Doug.
the Patriots are Super Bowl bound. Can
Pretty
you
crazy.
believe it? Can you believe it?
I mean, no, not really. It's funny. Like, we did this whole thing for weeks, right? Like, it's wide open. It's wide open. Anyone's AFC to win. But it was still like a 15%, 20% shot at best. And here you are, and they're going. It's just kind of a crazy, unbelievable season. And the fact that it was one of the weirdest games ever just adds to the haze of where they're at and where everyone's at.
Yeah, it's truly unbelievable. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, we'll get into the game, but just as far as the season-long expectations go, I mean, 7.5 wins. That was the win total over under. They won eight games over their last two seasons.
They won more games on the road than that 7.5 total.
Well, how many did they win in 2022?
I don't know, 7, 8.
So have they now won more games this season than their last 3 years combined?
I
don't know. This isn't math chat.
Are they up to 17 now?
I think so.
I'll just catch you, Doug. You asked the question. They went 8 and 9, so that's 8 plus 8 is 16. 17 is more than 16.
That's wild. Okay, so the Patriots playing the Seahawks in the Super Bowl 60. It's gonna be in San Francisco. Super Bowl 49 rematch. I'm seeing in our comments from Sam Fetterman that the line opened at 3.5 for Seattle.
Yeah. Let's save our Super Bowl.
He says feels low. What was that?
Yeah. I want to save our Super Bowl talk for later because it might be.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fair.
It might be.
But still, 3.5, yeah.
Yeah. Like this day, if going into the day, I felt really good about the Patriots. I don't know about you. I felt like they should be able to handle the Broncos. And at halftime, I was like, man, the Patriots played like absolute dog doo-doo, but it's tied, and I think Stidham has turned into a pumpkin. So I like their chances in the second half. Then the second half opens, and George Clooney's there. They're on a boat. It's the perfect storm. Absolute chaos. And it's like, I have no idea what the hell is going to happen in this game. So I tweeted this, and I think it's what I settled on. I don't know how you coach in those conditions. I don't know how you play in those conditions. It just became which team is grittier. And the Patriots ended up being a little bit grittier with a quarterback who could run, and that made all the difference.
Yeah, I mean, so the Patriots scored once in the second half. They scored on a field goal. So, yeah, it felt strange watching a football game where you had a pretty good idea that over the last 20 minutes of the game, no one was going to score, and that the score was probably just going to hold up. And since the Patriots had the lead, they were probably going to win.
Yeah.
And obviously there were still some big plays that came down at the end. Leonard Taylor's blocked field goal, Christian Gonzalez's interception, which also was really more Jarrett Stidham's interception, but
that was a bad pass.
Still. And then the 7-yard run from Drake May that he apparently improvised.
Called his own number.
Yeah. Just said, I'm going to go that way. Everyone else is going to go that way. I'm going to go that way.
You know what? I've been saying this all year, not on the Pat's Chat podcast, sadly. So listeners want to know, no one runs the naked boot anymore. The naked boot is a 100% successful play. The naked boot has never not worked. I've seen Peyton Manning score a touchdown on a naked boot. That's how successful the naked boot is. The naked boot gets me out of my seat. And that's what the Patriots use to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really unbelievable. And I mean, obviously the Patriots should have won that game. They did win that game. Heading in, they were favored. Jarrett Stidham, as you said, Jarrett Stidham came out looking pretty bad.
Well, no, he came out all right.
First drive was ugly. He didn't have a complete pass until the 52-yarder. And he was like 0 for 4 at that point.
He was missing wide receiver screens. He was
so
dirty,
like that's why I said he looked bad.
Sure, but it was the third drive he hit the deep ball. So it wasn't.
It was the second or third drive that he hit the deep ball. But no, still. So I'm saying like came out looking bad.
Okay.
Had the 52-yarder. And then after that, it was very, very apparent that Jarrett Stidham, who had not thrown a football in 2 years since the 2023 season in a regular season game, was going to be heavily affected by pressure.
Yeah,
So
and
the Patriots did what we all thought they were going to do, blitzed a ton, brought a bunch of pressure, and Jarrett Stidham just started running backwards with the football, which I think anyone who hadn't thrown a football in 2 years in a regular season game would probably do.
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, and there was the one play where he had the play action where he ran, he kept it and tucked it and
Yeah.
ran, and it was like, oh, he's got that. And then after that, every single time, one defender stayed on him and prevented that from ever happening again.
Right.
So it wasn't the
And then
most
he would run for like
complex.
2 yard gains and not get a first down. Yeah.
Yeah, so they took one guy off, whoever was getting the handoff, to make sure Stidham didn't do that again. So there were things Stidham did, I think that caught him off guard a little bit. I think they underestimated him early. I think the way and I'll have to look again because everyone got mad at me on the internet. Christian Gonzalez
Oh
getting
no,
beat by
again?
Mims. To me, I don't know what you're doing, clean the lens. To me, Gonzalez thought Mims was going to run a comeback type route on 3rd and 10 or whatever, 3rd and 8 or whatever it was. And then instead he ran right by him. I don't know if there should have been safety help, but I think Gonzalez was just sort of like, you're not going to go deep on me. And then I think Jalen Hawkins was like, they're not going to throw. And they did. So there was literally, we'll do booms and dooms later. The dooms are literally just 2 plays on defense. The whole game for the defense. Like I don't think you can look at any other spot on the defense and be like, oh, that wasn't good. It was literally 2 plays that were 3 or 4 plays apart, and that was it.
Yeah.
The whole game.
Right. It was the 52-yarder and then what, the touchdown?
Yeah. And that's
yeah, pretty much.
Every other defensive part of the game was on point.
I mean, so I talked to the Patriots about this in the locker room, and coming out of the game, like coming off the field, some of the defensive players were like, number 1 offensive line in the league, number 1 offensive line in the league. Like they were very happy with their performance against the Broncos offensive line, which they obviously should have been.
Sure.
Their performance in that game against the number 1 offensive line in the league was extremely impressive. And Christian Barmore called the Patriots defensive line the best defensive line in the league. And like on paper, talent-wise, I don't know if you would necessarily immediately say that, but when you're able to go up against that Broncos offensive line, completely stop the run as they've done for 3 straight weeks now, and also provide that much pressure against Jarrett Stidham, like, yeah, you can talk your shit after that. You are the best defensive line in the league after you can do that.
And like Quinn Miners, I don't know the numbers. You know how you see all these numbers, like, hasn't allowed her pressure, blah, blah, blah. All this. Barmore abused him twice, like just with a swim move, just by him. And I think you're right. My mind went to the pass rush, but to stop the run, they sold out and it worked. There was a run on the first drive. They tried to run off the right tackle, and Barmore was just there and didn't move. And it allowed everyone else to just get there. And it was like, you've got to move the point of attack in order to get to where you want to go. So I just think, and it's across the board. You had Elijah Ponder chasing him down on the first drive, right? That was the first drive, right?
Yeah, Ponder, he's a player.
Yeah.
That was a good find.
Yeah, there was a couple good finds that showed their way into this game. But, Milton Williams was in the backfield a few times. They were just constantly through. And it's one thing to blitz. It's another thing to succeed. And they were successful throughout the game. And like I said, we're going to, this was a game, right? I have trouble talking about the second half like a football game.
I know.
It's similar to the Patriots-Falcons game in 2017 at Gillette when it just got so foggy.
Right.
That we were up in the press box. We couldn't see the game. That you couldn't see on the TV. It was like, well, I don't know. I'll just tell me what happens, I guess. The second half was that tough to discern and break apart.
There was a screen where Jarrett Stidham just like threw it like 3 or 4 different Patriots players. And with the Patriots in all white, I'm genuinely curious if he saw that. And there were players after the game who said that, like, depending on which part of the field they were facing, they really just couldn't see anything. I think it was like if they were facing the south side of the stadium with all the snow blowing in their face, they just couldn't see. So I think there genuinely were times that like quarterbacks couldn't see what they were looking at. Defenders couldn't see what they were looking at. No one could see what they were looking at.
I have to give credit to my former parent employee in Paramount, all the way down to Tracy Wolfson was on the sideline in the second half. And she literally was doing a stand-up, and it was like, when you're staring at the snow is blowing your face. And then she and her photographer did a spin around, And she's like, now if I face this way, I can open my eyes, I can see, I can talk, everything's wonderful. I was like, oh, that was actually a good use of what a sideline reporter can do. And it helped explain like just how big it was when they were trying to say when the Broncos flipped the field going to the fourth quarter with the wind at their backs, it was a little bit easier, but it didn't seem easy to do anything.
No, because also, I mean, Andy Borregales missed a field goal going that way. It just the weather really did turn it into something completely different. And I retweeted two people. One of them was Pete Prisco. One of them was one of the Schwartz brothers. I can't remember which one it was. But they were both like, "Oh, that was barely football. Like football shouldn't be played." And the football's been played for how long has football existed for?
It was somewhere in the late 1800s, I believe. I want to get the schools right. I believe Yale was involved. I don't know if they played Brown. I did know this at one point, but it was probably 1883-ish, I want to say.
So a lot of years, almost 150 years. Pete Prisco tweets, "Now that is why you need stadiums with roofs. That was crap. And it's also why you should take the damn points in the playoffs. That wasn't football. It was a survival test."
I have something. This is like borderline irrelevant. Pete Prisco, I think, was 1-6 in the playoffs going into there, 1-7, and he went 0-2 today in his picks. So I understand where Pete Prisco is coming from. That is tough to do. So,
and then Mitchell Schwartz, "This is fun for regular season, but I don't think which team manages 5 inches of snow in an oncoming blizzard is the best way to determine who goes to the Super Bowl. And trust me, that's coming from someone who loved playing in the snow on grass."
I loved it until a team I don't like was involved, and now it makes me mad.
It just like it's so silly, and it's silly to even talk about, but like it's home field advantage in the playoffs for a reason.
Right. It should not.
You can't just suddenly go to the AFC Championship game and play it on a neutral field? Or as I guess Pete Prisco wants everyone to be playing in domes? I don't know.
I want to be fair to Prisco. He was 1-1 today. He did have the Seahawks, so I just want to correct that. But no, I mean, I liked it. There's a part of me that agrees.
It's a different product.
Yeah, I mean, if they played it in Gillette, it would have been in the middle of a blizzard. So I don't know. I love it. I love sports. I love defense. I love
defense is fun too.
I love the fact that it was on natural grass. Like everything was aesthetically pleasing, except you didn't know this because you were there. When the second half started, they did those like digital overlays of the yard lines and every hash mark and all that. It looked so bad, they scrapped it because it was like, it's almost better just seeing this chaos than trying to perfect it with computers. So when I talk about it being hard to talk about a football game, it's just like, I don't know what you're going to grasp or take away from the offense. Like, I think the offense had a bad first half. I was interested to see how they recovered in the second half. I don't have anything for you. I don't have anything to take away from. They ran the ball well that first drive of the third quarter, obviously, when they ran it 5,000 times. Outside of that drive, and then things really went haywire seemingly after that. I don't like. What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to analyze every route, every pass, it was so messy that it almost became something other than what we're used to analyzing.
I think ultimately Drake May will get a lot of guff for his overall playoff performance. And I don't know if it's completely unfair. He played 3 of the best defenses in the league. And I do think that you can probably discount about half of his performance today because of the weather. But if you include, like, if you throw away the weather, whatever, that was the worst game of Drake May's career. So it at least has to be said. And obviously there are other elements. There's literal elements in play here. And there's also the Broncos defense. But even before it started snowing, the passes were errant. He, I think, made a pretty bad decision to throw the ball to Kayshon Boutte when Patrick Surtain was in coverage because he wasn't open for even a second on that play. And I understand that you want to trust your guy.
No.
But like it was just, he was blanketed in coverage.
If you have like Calvin Johnson or Puka Nacua, you want to give him a shot. But when Kayshon Boutte is literally existing with Patrick Surtain inside his own jersey, you don't throw that ball. Quick question for you.
If he like stacks Patrick Surtain like he was able to do against Derek Stingley, then you throw that ball. But I will say, this is very dumb and silly. Based off that one play alone and the one play from from last week's playoff game where Keishon Boutte beat Derek Stingley for the touchdown, I'm never, ever, ever going to think anything other than the fact that Patrick Surtain is better than Derek Stingley.
I mean, you may be taking an odd route to get there, but I don't think you're wrong. Like, I think Surtain is better than Stingley.
Yeah.
Quick question for you. What hotel chain are you at?
I'm at a Courtyard Marriott.
Let's just say they're not paying the internet bills.
I know.
Okay.
I've got 2 bars right now. You've been clipping in and out a little bit.
The Courtyard folks need to respect the Pats chat. That's all I got to say. But
I have to say, hold on one second. Look at how high this ceiling is in this hotel.
12 feet?
Maybe even more. It might be like 15.
You could put a regulator in there. You could work on your dunks.
That could be affecting the internet a little bit. Yeah. It's a pretty fancy Courtyard.
I'm sure the Denver
Wi-Fi is not fancy though.
Delightful. I would say Drake May's first half was awful.
Yeah.
Right? It was bad.
Yeah.
He was missing passes. He missed, and he had just been rushed or hit. He had Demario Douglas on that cover 2 hole shot wide open. And because he felt a little flustered, he never got his feet set. He had a little bit of a happy feet there and just missed the throw. He just misfired. Now, the next play was an absolute friggin' strike to Mac Hollins on 3rd and 13 to move the chains and get out of trouble. So he did overcome that one. But I just think overall there was the in-cut to Boutte where he skipped it. There was it probably didn't matter, but it was a 3rd and long swing pass to Stevenson where he just missed him. And he looked terrible in that first half. I don't think there's any other way to put it, but he has not looked very good in the first halves of the first 2 games. I was looking to see what we had in the second half, and I don't know that we really have much to judge, but I do think his running ability was the difference in the game. It might still be 7-7 right now if he didn't break off the 28-yard run coming out of halftime, and if he didn't break off, what was it, the 33-yard? He had a 33-yarder before halftime, right? That didn't lead to the field goal. And then obviously the 7-yarder that you mentioned to win the game.
Yeah.
Those were the plays that the other team couldn't make. And that's, I think, why you're in the Super Bowl.
No, it's 100%. And spoiler alert for our booms and dooms.
Yeah.
I had, oh boy, you're freezing. Spoiler alert for the booms and dooms. I had Drake May as a passer and Drake May as a runner separated for good reason.
You friggin' dirtbag. You can't do that. And we lost Doug once I called him a dirtbag.
This internet is getting worse and worse and worse. I'm not exactly sure what to do, but we're going to keep trying to power through this. Maybe I will. Can you just monologue for a couple of seconds, and I will try to get on my phone's internet instead.
I don't really think that's going to work, but we're going to try it because we're the Pats Chat podcast. We're the little podcast that can. Let's see. I'm gonna go to the notes then. I'm gonna go to the notes. I wish I had a little bit more prep. I'll be honest, Doug's not here, so I can talk a little trash. I wish that he had maybe given me a little bit more warning before going in. So the first half, as I looked through my notes, there was a lot of dooms. I think the Patriots looked very bad in that first half, but ultimately did enough to come away tied 7-7. And I'm still in the first half, and it's still ugly. And I don't know. This is the Mike Hurley podcast that nobody asked for. This is tough. A lot of notes.
What?
I hear some noise. That means Doug is coming back. Doug's back. You back?
I'm back. All right. So you went through all your notes?
Doug, I'll be honest. One time you left me and I crushed it. This time you left me, I floundered. The podcast listeners are going to be like, that guy's a moron. And I'll be honest, it's my bad. I got to be better than that. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. We're back now, right? You can hear me? I'm good?
I can hear you. Your video's maybe delayed, but who cares? I'm just here. We're just here talking. It's all good.
Okay, we're going to do this. All right. And then, so yeah, I Drake May as a passer was really rough in this game. As a runner, he was a major difference maker. I feel like in general, like the Patriots rushing attack did about as good as they possibly could have in this game. It wasn't great when Ramondre Stevenson just fell on the ground. Oh, one other thing about Drake May, while we're talking about Drake May, I know this is like faint praise, but 0 turnovers was something that a lot of people were talking about going into this game. And sure, you would have liked a better performance to go along with 0 turnovers, but 0 turnovers was also a significant difference in this game as well.
And it was a day when he got hit quite a bit. And there were really no near turnovers. I don't think there was the sack. You'll have to tell me what Robinson's first name is, because that was, I think, the first sack of the year for him. When May tried to do his, it starts with Q. You just go by Q. When he went for the stiff arm,
I think it's
escape,
Q.
He held on to that ball. There were a couple where he got hit pretty good in the open field, and he had the ball out, and he secured it. As in terms of turning it over through the air, the first drive of the game, I should correct myself.
Yeah,
he nearly threw a pick backed up against his own end zone. That one would have been possibly game losing, given what we know now. So he got a little bit lucky there, escaped that one. But yeah, when he got hit quite a bit, I think the offensive line had some issues. You had Morgan Moses get beat clean. You had Will Campbell go for a cut block. It didn't work. You had Jared Wilson just like, I'll follow my guy inside and leave this gap completely wide open. That cost them a touchdown. So I think the protection had some spots where they weren't good. I think overall they were good enough for May to make plays. He just wasn't able to. But there were some definite holes. And you're right. That is worth mentioning. I think the only way the Patriots lose this game is if Drake May turns it over. That's something I would have said Wednesday. That's something I can say Sunday night. If he had thrown that pick, they probably lose.
Yeah, I agree. And it's interesting. I think in PFF's initial charting, they didn't blame a Patriots offensive lineman for a sack, and they only had them down for a few pressures overall. So I think they were blaming Drake May for a lot of the pressures. But
there was one that like it was Jared Wilson's guy, but May had stepped up into it. But I would say it was Morgan Moses got beat by Jonathan Cooper, and Cooper didn't get the sack, but literally wrapped up May. And then someone else came and
someone else got it. Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to blame the offensive line for that one. I'm not a PFF
just
employee.
The entire line.
I'm going to override. No, I'm going to blame Morgan Moses. Like, it was off the snap. He got beat, and then the quarterback was wrapped up by his guy. So it's like, all due respect to the process over at PFF, but I'm smarter than that. So I'm sorry.
I do want to talk about Jarrett Stidham's turnovers, because the fumble that was caused by Christian Ellis, I mean, I don't know what the NFL does about that, but it does feel like in some ways it can just be like, can we use our heads on this play? And on that play, after you've reversed it and said that it was a backwards pass, and when you have seen Elijah Ponder run into the end zone, unevaded, like no one was stopping him from doing that.
Yeah.
And just allow it to be a touchdown. Why do we have to say like, okay, well, they returned it, but everything that we saw, you have to do like the Men in Black mind erase thing? Why is that? That feels stupid, right?
It does when it's very obviously a scoop and score.
When it's so clear and obvious.
Now, unfortunately, your internet is probably worse now, which is too bad. But in that case, I have multiple issues. You have the umpire who's there, sort of backtracking, looking. He's right there. The ball goes backwards, and he's like, "No, I think that was a forward pass." And it's like, "Well, you were incorrect. Whoever blew the whistle should not be working on an NFL officiating crew, because they let everything go, and then a backwards pass. It was 2 yards backwards. It wasn't right on the line. It was clearly fumble-esque. He had a forward motion that led to a backward pass. Just don't blow it dead. It ended up being a moot point because Drake May ran it in 2 plays later. But it's one of those things that you're just like, it shouldn't be complicated. It should be a simple situation. And they managed to overcomplicate it, because that's what NFL officials do. I want to say something about the officiating, and I want to double check myself before I say it out loud. Yeah. 3 total penalties. 1 was illegal touching. 1 was a false start where Will Campbell got going really early. I'm trying to think of the third one, but they were all very obvious. Like everything was legal today, And as an enjoyer of the sport, I loved it. Like, I love not being like, this was defensive holding, this was pass interference, this was offensive pass interference, it was a push off. Like, they got to play the sport, and I think that rocks.
Yeah, there were a couple of times that I thought the Broncos could have been penalized for holding Kairos Tonga that they didn't. But at the same time, like, I'm glad they just let all of them go. I texted you our prize picks. So you are going to do a prize picks ad read while I fix my internet. And it's a lot of pressure on you, but I think you can handle it. I will be back before you know it.
Wait.
And I believe in you, Michael. We all believe in you.
You should probably
do your prize picks ad read.
You should make sure I have the copy first, because otherwise we're
okay. I'll send you the copy too. Okay. Well, I was just going to have you give our prize picks.
Well, I should read a little copy,
and then
so
I was
people
going
know
to.
some copy.
And I mean, also, I'm going to say, as the co-host of this podcast, you should probably have the copy anyway. But what are we really doing? All right.
All right. You good luck with your internet. I'm going to read the ad.
All right. I'm gonna fix this. You're gonna do an ad read. I'll be back.
All right. let me clear my throat here. All right, everybody, you ready? This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine or making player picks for the first time, trying something new can be hard. But in life and on Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure playoff matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never stops, and Prize Picks lets you take control. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. People who are not right with their Prize Picks are Michael Hurley and Doug Kyed. I'm looking at our picks now. I disagree. I don't think these were our picks, but I'll look at them. It looks like we had Drake May more than 1.5 pass and rush touchdowns combined, which feel good about that, but he only scored 1 touchdown, was unable to get number 2. This one we nailed. This one we should get credit for the whole thing, because we had Bryce Behringer over more than 3.5 punts. He punted 8 times. He punted quite a bit. None of the punts were good, but they didn't ask for quality. They were just asking for quantity. So Bryce Behringer really making us look smart there. Doug loves himself picking a tight end to go more than in yards. Evan Ingram only had 19 yards. Unfortunately, we went with the more than 21.5 yards, which Doug loves. He can't help himself. We did have Jared Stidham with less than 194.5 pass yards. That one was right. He had 133 yards, which still feels a little high. And we liked Nick Bonito to get a sack, and he only had 0.75. So he did not get it. So those were our prize picks. Another miss from the Patch Chat gang. But I want to say this. Nick Bonito did not get a sack, but he did say after the game that the Broncos are the better team. And he said it while wearing a hat with kitty cat ears. And I showed it to my wife, and I said, like, our 5th grader is too old to be wearing that. And I think even our 3rd grader probably would have aged out of wearing the kitty cat ear hats. So like a 1st or 2nd grade child would wear that hat. But I want to support it because I like people that are weird, but I don't think you can say we were the better team while wearing a kitty cat ear hat.
I just didn't know about Nick Bonito's vibe before that. Okay. In general, I would say, and I was surprised. And yeah, I don't know. It feels it doesn't feel great after you lose an AFC Championship game. And maybe you think, hey, if the quarterback didn't get hurt, if our quarterback Bo Nix didn't get hurt, we probably win that game. But like in all reality, when Jarrett Stidham's your quarterback, it sucks that you lost an AFC Championship game. But I don't think you could say, I know we were the better team.
No, and I want to come at you. This might be hot takey. You might want to grab the handles of your seat there in your hotel room. Do they win with Bo Nix? I don't think so. I don't think
they might. I don't know.
Maybe he runs for another first down or two and gets them another chance to score. But I don't know. You tell me I'm wrong, but I had to do an exercise last week where I had to rank the 8 remaining quarterbacks, and I listed Bo Nix 8th. I don't think I was wrong. Maybe he makes one more play, and in a game like this, that's the difference. But I do think you also play the game that you're in. And at a certain point, Drake May didn't have to do anything. Like if Drake May was pushed to make one more play, I think he could have made one more play. So I don't necessarily look at the quarterback situation as the decider. I think that second half in the weather just blindsided everybody.
If you are in Nick Bonito's brain, you probably at least have that thought, but you don't need to express it.
Inside the bunny ears.
Yes.
I mean, if you're Nick Bonito and you're a pass rusher primarily, and the opposing quarterback goes 10 for 21 for what, 86 yards?
Right. Yeah.
You're probably like, well, we did our job. And I get that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Can we talk about coaching?
Yeah. The 4th and 1.
So there's a part of me, like the dumbass Neanderthal inside me, that I was like, Peyton goes for it, doesn't get it. Nice job, idiot. And then Rabel goes and does the same thing and gets it. Barely.
Right.
Barely. And you're like, well, the coach technically made the same decision on other sides. I'll tell you, I'll elevate it a little bit. I'll be a little bit more mature about it. Going for it on 4th and 1, I don't hate. The play call the Broncos went with felt very self-aggrandizing to me from Sean Payton's perspective. Like, oh, they think we're going to run it on 4th and 1. We're going to roll our third string. Well, back up. We're going to run our quarterback who hasn't played in years. Oh, they're never going to see it coming. And it's like, they saw it coming. They defended it. I just think try to win a battle. Don't try to outsmart the opponent, or don't try to.
I will say, I don't know if running the ball would have been the right move there either, though, because the Patriots' run defense was so good.
I know, but it's a yard. They did get a yard a couple times during the game. Harvey had converted a couple of those, so 3rd and 1s. So I just think the play call itself was sort of like, oh, we scored a touchdown last time we were in the red zone. Watch this one. And it was like, no, you basically threw a pick. There was no deception or surprise involved.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Should we get into some booms and dooms?
Yeah, your internet's feeling better. I'm feeling good about it.
I know, I'm feeling good about it. I don't know what happened, but
just wait until you hear the ad read I did. It was probably
I've actually already seen comments that it was a quality ad read.
It was better than the filler I did the last time you left. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I heard some of it. It was bad filler.
Are you familiar with the video back when the internet had like 7 videos total, and it was the guy on like QVC or HSN who had the sword, and he banged it on the table to show how tough, and it broke and hit him. He's like, oh, that got me, Odell. And then the guy comes in and goes, we are gonna need emergency surgery in the studio. That's basically what I did. It was
that's what you did.
It was a horrible showing.
I mean, I don't know. I'm surprised. You're usually better in those circumstances.
I usually am, but not tonight.
Did you want to be the first boomer of the day, or do you want me to be the first boomer of the day?
Just real quick, I have to ask you before booms and dooms. I, like a lot of probably people listening to this podcast, didn't get to really watch or listen to much post game because I had a foot of snow that I had to go blow.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't have to do 2 feet tomorrow. So what stood out? I saw the Drake May quote where he kind of freestyled. What stood out post game commentary from the Patriots?
We do have a hard out in 23 minutes, so we do have to get
did anything
dooms eventually.
Did anything,
but yeah. I mean, like I said, Christian Barmore was really feeling the win. He said they have the best defensive line. He said that a message from the defensive line is that all pros don't mean shit. And that was the message going up against 2 All-Pros on the Broncos. You mentioned one earlier, Quinn Miners, who Barmore beat. But then there was also Garrett Bowles. I don't think there was a lot of pressure on Bowles, but when you're going up against defensive line with 2 All-Pros, you're not expected to play that well. The Patriots are staying over in Denver overnight, where they will be partying and celebrating the AFC Championship win. And that's in large part due to the fact that there is the aforementioned 24 inches or so of snow in New England. But yeah, I don't know if there was anything else that was super significant. What was that?
You talked to Gonzalez?
I did, but he had already gone to the podium, so he didn't really want to talk that much when I got to him.
He had his first pick of the year.
He did, and Mike Vrabel said after the game that Gonzalez, to him, has been a different Gonzo over the last few weeks.
I mean, we talked about the other day. Great playoffs. I have some curiosity about whatever happened on the deep shot. I thought he gave it up, we'll see if there should have been a safety there.
I asked him about the different Gonzo thing, and he kind of like dismissed it a little bit. And you said, "Well, I already answered that." It's like, "Well, I wasn't there for that."
That's tough on the road. You get in the locker room, it's not the same setup.
And a lot of guys will talk even after they do podium. Like, super big credit to Milton Williams. He'll do a podium, then talk in the locker room for 10 minutes afterwards.
Yeah.
Some guys are less willing to do it though. But no, it was definitely an excited environment. We didn't get to talk to Mac Hollins, which I was a little bit bummed about because he had a good game. He had 50 yards on 2 catches.
2 big catches, a third down conversion, which got them out of trouble, and then the flea flicker, which was the best offensive pass of the game. So yeah, I'll start the booms, and this will encompass a lot. This will take care of a lot. I mentioned it earlier. The booms are everybody on defense except for the 2 plays when they gave up a long deep shot and a touchdown. I don't know how you could complain about much else.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So your boom is everyone on defense.
Everyone on defense except for the 2 snaps when they
except for the 2 snaps.
Beat. I mean, Gonzalez, you could say made up for
I eliminated Gonzalez from Gonzalez was originally on my dooms list, but I eliminated him after the interception.
He did get beaten by come on, best receiver on the Broncos on the third down
Sutton.
On the in cut, but Stidham kind of threw it behind and Sutton didn't catch it. So it was like kind of a couple in the first half for Gonzalez that weren't great, and he was also holding on that play, but they weren't calling penalties today. So, but he did he made the pick. You could say maybe, that was to Sutton. You could say maybe Sutton was never, ever looking for the ball. You could say Stidham just kind of chucked it in the air. All those things are true, but he made an interception that kind of sealed the game. So Tonga was a force. Milton Williams was a force. Christian Barmore was a force. Guys like Christian Ellis forcing probably the game-changing play was significant. We mentioned Elijah Ponder chasing Stidham down in the first snap. Corey Durden, I thought, had a good showing. Like you could just keep going on. Carlton Davis had no mistakes. Like there was just so many stack on top of stacks. The defense gets all of the booms.
So I had Milton Williams and Christian Barmore in my best list, so that encompasses that. I do want to give a special shout out to Christian and to Carlton Davis. No penalties in this game, big. But also, I think it was a screen where I think it was to Mims, and Carlton Davis was being blocked by 2 guys, but just still forced Mims out for a 1-yard gain and like didn't allow the first down on that. That was just a really strong play by him. I think it was on 2nd down, and then Marcus Jones had a pass breakup on 3rd down. Really good string of plays by the cornerbacks there. But Carlton Davis, probably not thought to be like the most forceful, strong defender, but really held his ground there and did a great job forcing the punt. So shout out to him. Craig Woodson also had a really strong start to the game.
Yeah, I mean, the defense, that's why you're in the Super Bowl. 3 playoff wins from the defense, where Drake May was passenger is too strong because he made some outstanding throws in the first 2 rounds, and he made some great runs today. So I think you can't call him a passenger, but you're not in the Super Bowl because Drake May carried you. You're in the Super Bowl because the defense played 3 outstanding games.
Yeah. Mac Hollins can be my boom then, because he had 2 catches for 51 yards. That was more than half of Drake May's passing yardage. It was, I think the Patriots had 200 or so total yards. So his receptions accounted for a quarter of their total offense. In a game without a lot of offensive production, he was a big play threat in his return from an abdominal injury. So I'm giving it to him.
A rare moment where Pat's chat was wrong. Dr. Pat's chat thought.
Yeah.
We didn't like his chances on Wednesday.
No.
Shows up to practice Thursday and he plays on Sunday and looks pretty normal. There was one play, it was a screen of Diggs, and he was just kind of standing there, and Diggs got lit up, and it was like, probably could have used the block there, Mac. So wasn't, but yeah, I mean, when you account for a quarter of the offense, that's fair. I wouldn't have gone Mac. I would have gone Ramondre. I don't think the numbers are gaudy, but without Stevenson, you probably don't win this game. I think he had 73 yards. There was also one play. I wrote it in my notes. So let me just control F real quick. I'm really good at finding things in my notes. But there was, well, we'll get to the goal line, direct snap, but there was a run.
God.
It was 14-10 left in the game. He had a 12-yard run up the gut, moves the sticks, sort of extended for extra yardage. And I forget which defender it was, but he went for one of those monster strips, where there's violence in there. And Stevenson held on. And we all know what happened there. And if you fumble if anyone fumbles today, it could be the game loser. He obviously got the ball more than anyone. I think he ran well. I think he ran decisively. And I think when there wasn't anything there, he protected and he bottled up, and he in the same way you want a quarterback to take a profit, he took a loss when there wasn't anything there to fight for. And I think without Stevenson, especially that drive coming out of halftime, it's a different game. So good game by him.
Fumbles are so weird because Ramondre Stevenson did not have a fumbling issue in the first, 3 years of his career? 2 years? 3 years? 3 years. 21, 22, 23. 24, suddenly he fumbles 7 times that season. And everyone's like, oh, Ramondre Stevenson can't run the ball without fumbling. Starts the season this year with 3 fumbles and then doesn't fumble again. And maybe I'm all knock on wood or whatever, so I don't jinx him in the Super Bowl. But it's weird how a guy can just go from having no fumbling issue to a fumbling issue to no fumbling issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's a coaching point. We've seen it with numerous people here. I mean, Kevin Falk had a fumbling issue, and then Bill Belichick comes along and says, if you keep fumbling, you won't have a job. Lo and behold, he held on the ball better. So there's various things. Now, granted, Falk went to the Goodyear elbow pads, which were sick. Maybe Stevenson passed that step of the recovery process, but I liked it. I have another boom for you that might piss you off.
What?
I won't say the punt unit for not allowing any blocks on their 8 punts, but I will say Brendan Schooler with maybe the best game of his life.
Yeah.
Best game of his life.
He had 2 huge tackles,
Smothering Marvin Mims, who was a game changer. We mentioned averaged over 15 yards per punt return. In a game like that, a punt return could have been the difference. He made sure that was a non-factor early. I don't know. He had Mims might have had one decent return that was like 10, 12 yards. But other than that, Schooler was like a man possessed early on those early
playing with
punts.
its hair on fire. Yeah.
His long...
Big game from Schooler. My final one is Drake May as a runner because he had 68 yards and a touchdown on 7 carries. That's some impressive stuff. Patriots, as you said, probably don't win that game without him and his mobility and his legs. I was watching ESPN briefly this morning, and it made me laugh. So I have to mention it. I know it's just like a 3-minute, 2-minute segment, whatever, of a 4-hour show or whatever they're doing. But they're previewing the Patriots Broncos game, and Rex Ryan's like, you've got to worry about Jarrett Stidham's legs because he's a mobile quarterback and he can make plays with his legs. He's more athletic than you think. And then it was like, and Drake May has a huge fumbling issue. His turnovers have been terrible in the playoffs. And honestly, I don't care, obviously, but I just thought it was funny that if you were a person who knew absolutely nothing about football and you were an alien from outer space coming down and watching that 2-minute clip of ESPN this morning, you'd be like, wow, one of these quarterbacks is really terrible and sucks, and the other one is a super athletic, superhuman, mobile freak. And you would think that Drake May was terrible and Jarrett Stidham was not. And it's just like, I know that we hold these guys to different standards, but it is funny when I was like, wow, that was a wild thing to watch.
I think it's been really funny to see because for so long the Patriots were like the preeminent NFL franchise and everyone seemingly knew everything about them. It's funny seeing so many people in national media know absolutely nothing about the Patriots and figuring out. I mean, Stephen A's thing this week was a big, but every day there's something new where you're like, you don't know a goddamn thing about the New England Patriots, and now they're in the Super Bowl. You're going to have to do. Unfortunately, these people are going to have to. Bill Cowher this morning or this afternoon, I guess, said Efton Chisholm was a part of a strong linebacking core for the Patriots. So it's just like it just keeps every day there's a new one.
Like they weren't on TV that much. Yeah, they weren't on national TV,
and everyone's just like, I'll piece it together. I'll figure. I'm not going to actually do research on what's going on, but I do think it's been like this fun little side thing where it's like every day someone just shows their ass and is like, yeah, you don't study. And I don't expect people to know everything about 32 teams, but when there's 2 football games left in the week, you could do 15 to 20 minutes of research. That's all.
Right. Yeah.
I have a boom.
Oh, okay.
Before we move on from the booms, I lost it. Oh, Christian Ellis deserves a boom. Like,
I was gonna say Jack Gibbons. So both of the linebackers. Yeah.
I just think they need, like, you're watching Stidham sort of. He had the hot start with the deep ball. You're watching him really come back to earth, and you're just desperate for that play. And that play needed to be made, and it was a split-second difference. Whether you get there or not, he's going to throw it away. Even if that was intentional grounding, they're going to punt, and the field's going to flip. Like, I just think you needed that play, and lo and behold, it's Christian Ellis who makes it.
Lenny T gets a shout out too because he blocked the field goal, and that was a huge play.
I've been saying
Leonard Taylor the third.
I've been telling you. I came on this podcast a couple weeks ago, and I was like, Leonard Taylor. No, I texted you during a game, and I said, "All right, I'll bite." Who is Leonard Taylor? Because not a guy many people knew about, including myself. Speaking of bashing the national media, not a player I was familiar with until a couple weeks ago.
It is wild that because the Patriots have a full 53-man roster and they can't really do anything about it, he's a guy who's just going to be on the practice squad for the Super Bowl and elevated off the practice squad, and he's going to play 15 or 20 snaps. He blocked a field goal and made a game-clinching play in the AFC Championship game, and he's a practice squatter. And
does he have to share a hotel room with Dearness Johnson? Do you think they don't get their own rooms because they're practice squad elevations?
It's a good question. He did say after the game that he jumped up and touched the ball and then said no diddy after that. That was quoted by CLNS on Twitter. So felt like that was a worthy quote to put on it. Should we get to Dooms? Because we have 10 minutes left.
Yep. Doom time. I have, can I start? Let me start, please. Bryce Behringer. Oh my God. You're in Denver. The ball flies. You're kicking the ball a maximum of 100 feet every single time somehow. It was, I didn't know a punter could play that poorly. It didn't cost them. There was the one, you've got the whole field. You're kicking from the 44. Kick the thing to the moon. It'll come down inside the 20, and it went to the 28. It was a 33-yard punt. It was an atrocious punting game. I've never seen anything like it.
I think someone might have talked to him after the game, and he made it sound like that was like possibly like the strategy to just keep it away from Mims. But man, that was it was rough.
It was awful.
Because either way he was kicking it both sides of the field, and it wasn't going anywhere either way. They were going out of bounds.
Average of 37.9 yards per punt, and it wasn't like they were punting from the 50 every time.
Right.
It was a bad punting game, but shout out to the punt team, 0 blocks allowed. Probably the number, like, that'll lead Sports Center tonight, I'm pretty sure. When SVP hits, he's gonna be like, Patriots punt team allows 0 punt blocks. They're going to the Super Bowl.
So I think it was Sophie Weller, actually.
He didn't even acknowledge me.
Who talked to Bryce Behringer. Mims, he's a game wrecker. You can put him up there with our guy. He's everything you want in a returner. He's fast. He catches the ball really naturally. So once it got really expletive out and we were punting into that wind, the last thing we want is Marvin Mims touching the ball. At the end of the day, I know the yardage doesn't look right, but there's other things that people don't see that don't get accounted for. And I credit a lot of it to Springer, Tom, and Vrabes for just keeping us right in that situation, just understanding. We know how hard it is to kick in that, and our defense, like I said, was playing really well. So that was game plan.
We are done with this quote.
He had 4 punts before the half, I will say.
Yeah, and
before it was snowing. Yeah,
and you might as well throw Borregales in there because there was a play call. It was 3rd and 6. They went with a sweep. Another sideways play from the offense. They love those random sideways. They went for nothing. So it was like, all right, well, you trust your kicker. You had the wind at your back. He missed it right. The one before halftime, that was a long one. He did miss the net, though. He missed the net. So that's a bad kick.
We had a terrible angle on field goals.
63, right? So
63. And it was a line drive that went far. And from our angle, it was like, wait, did he hit that? And it wasn't even close. Yeah.
It was caught by fans. So 63 miss, not that bad. However, you missed the net. And then the one in the second half where you have the wind at your back. They set you up for it. They're like, you got it, man. And you miss it. I don't know if Vrabel gave him a game ball or something to juice him up, but he's going to need it because that was A bad kicking game from the Patriots.
He was also on my dooms list, and I mentioned earlier, Drake May as a passer was also on my dooms list. 10 of 21. I believe he wound up taking 5 sacks, or did he have 6 in the game? Regardless,
5 sacks.
5 sacks. So 5 sacks, completed less than half of his passes, 86 yards, and if it was snowing and terrible and windy and shitty out the whole time, I would dismiss it a little bit more, but he was as bad in the first half as he was in the second half.
Yeah, I suppose I had one I don't think Will Campbell sucked in this game. He had that one rep where he went for the cut block and just totally whiffed. He had the false start where he was going and no one else was going. Right. Jared Wilson, I think his miscue was worse, where you had Stevenson one-on-one with the linebacker who was flat-footed. You had a touchdown and May was unable to throw it because you just abandoned your spot to chase someone inside. And that guy running the stunt would have eventually gotten in, but the guy filling his spot got right in, wrecked May. So those two guys on the whole, not a doom. The line held up okay, but between the aforementioned Moses one and those two guys there were some misplays that cost them that, in a different game we might be talking about differently.
Rebrieville does make a good point. Borregales did make the only field goal of the game, but
it was from the 6.
It was from, it was an easy field goal. So we have 5 minutes left of this podcast. We have a hard out
preview.
We will talk about the Super Bowl a ton in the upcoming episodes.
Can I give you my initial thought?
Sure.
Real quick. It's real quick. It's about 6 words. Jackson Smith-Njigba is uncoverable, and there's no way you can defend him. And I don't know what they do about that. But if you want a glimmer of hope, because I would like the Seahawks in this game for whatever that's worth. Darnold showed just enough suck in that game to be maybe. And the other glimmer of hope, I don't know if it's just the offenses were too powerful in that NFC Championship game. Are the defenses any good at all?
So the Seahawks had the best defense in the league this year.
They did, but they today there were times where Puka Nacua can make a contested catch, but there's also guys running wide open. There were breaks. So I don't know. I think you don't get hung up on the fact that the Patriots barely scored in a weird, windy, snowy, mucky game in Denver. They'll have a chance. I think they're rightfully be underdogs, but you're in the Super Bowl, and that's insane.
I think the Patriots defensive line and defense in general will be able to stop the run. Sam Darnold had a great season. Smith-Njigba, as you said, is uncoverable. So I think they will be able to do some damage to the passing game. And my prediction is that Drake May will play better in the Super Bowl than he did in the first 3 playoff games, if only just because the conditions in San Francisco will be better.
Won't be cold.
But I don't know that for sure. But yeah,
it's good. It's going to be an uphill battle. I wouldn't bet my hard-earned money on the Patriots to win the game, but it's kind of a perfect setup if you think about the way this season has gone, where it's they're in the Super Bowl and there's still going to be people who say they haven't played anybody. And it's I don't know who else. I don't know what else you want them to do at this point. They've followed the rules of the league, and now they're there. I did see you feel bad a little, but you laugh a little too. The stat muse just came out and they were Super Bowl appearances, Drake May 1, Josh Allen 0. And it's you feel bad, but it's also a little bit funny. You have to be honest. It is a little bit humorous that this is happening. And it does feel like it's all ahead of schedule with everybody. So not to get in, we'll do the Super Bowl talk, but it's whatever happens. They're in the Super Bowl right now. It's nuts.
This is interesting. Only the second Super Bowl in Patriots history that Bill Belichick is not on staff for as well.
Did you see Steve was at the game with the Stidham sweatshirt on?
Big Stidham friend there, yeah.
Buddies.
I didn't see. Do you think there was any bitterness? That doesn't surprise me.
Do you think there was some Patriots bitterness?
Probably.
These guys.
All right. We are going to leave. We're going to allow our next show to air. Stay on CLNS. Watch that. And we will be back at midweek to talk to you again soon.
So many podcasts from us. We're going to
watch the next podcast. Do it.
2
Goodbye.
a day until the Super Bowl.